He does know like conducting, and you kind of have to do a little bit of like, well, what do you think about that, Bijou? Or like, oh, like he does at one point go, oh, Carmen Electra's here, but like he needs to like, you need to like swing the question around. Well, how do you feel about what was just said? Like, yes, your wife. Yeah, why aren't we flying our husbands and wives out? You know what I mean? Like Bijou Phillips is like allegedly flying out like horny college guys.
Okay. Next he goes,
Sorry, I keep jumping ahead.
No. It's because it's hard not to jump ahead to all of the major points of POIs that occur. if this episode of Politically Incorrect were like an Assassin's Creed game, the world map would just be like littered with like diamonds and question marks. So he goes,
well, I got a Playboy advisor question for you that maybe you all could chime in on here. If a guy flies a girl in for a date, is she obligated to sleep with him?
So I'll say, I asked you, I emailed you and asked you if you wanted to do this. And I had no idea what was going to be on these. I hadn't even watched them, but I was like, this feels like something, this feels like it's, Gabrus it's already in line with some of his interests.
Yeah.
And then we do like every few months we do, on Discord, people are on the Patreon, they can like, we hang out and like watch some stuff. And I was like, well, let's just watch like at least a few minutes of this episode of Politically Incorrect, which I'm so curious about. And we watched the first 5 minutes, and I remember being like, well, we can't watch anymore because this is clearly going to be one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen. And like, I'd rather just come in fresh, release some of it for the episode. He says that. And he clearly, after this point, he keeps insisting over and over that you essentially have like a moral obligation to fuck a guy if he flies you out to see him.
Now, what Will is saying is 100% true, and I will tag it with saying it's not the worst thing he goes on to say. And if I dare jump the gun to...
Isn't it kind of like the girl who went up to the hotel room with Mike Tyson? You know, it's like, aren't there certain things that you do as a woman where you're sort of saying, okay, we're going to have sex?
I'm like, brother, you don't have to say this. Like, you do not have to defend Mike Tyson, known rapist at this time.
And what's really crazy is he's saying this and he's being very earnest. Bijou Phillips is like, no, I don't really think so. Adam Carolla then, other people kind of start making jokes, and Adam Carolla is like, I mean, I think this is always true. I flew my grandmother in to see me. You know, we got it out of the way, and then we had a nice time at Disneyland or whatever. I was like, oh, maybe they'll find a way to make this light. And then Bill Maher's like, no jokes. There will be no comedy. I need everyone to agree with me on this. Because as you said, he so clearly had this happen to him.
He's relitigating a fight he had with like a 25-year-old fucking woman of the night, or a young woman he met. Scott Weiland has a great one where he's like, Weiland, whatever you say his name. He has a great one where he's like, well, it kind of depends on how far they're flying. Like, if you're just flying them in from like Vegas, like they're not required. But if it's like across country, then maybe. And then I do like Carolla's joke of like, I'm flying from Burbank to LAX and make sure that they still have to fuck me or whatever. I was like, oh, it was actually kind of interesting to see Carolla like aiming for jokes. You know what I mean? Like that. I was like, oh yeah, he did used to try.
And like, he's like self-effacing, like making fun of himself.
Right.
Whereas now you see him and you're like, every photo of him now, he's got like glasses and like a blazer and a button-up shirt on, and he's looking really serious. And it's like, hey, asshole, you were the dumb guy on Loveline. Like, who the hell, where do you
were
get
the
off?
Dumb guy on The Man Show.
But before Scott Weiland is making the jokes, he also, before he starts making jokes, he goes,
I think it's really kind of disgraceful that men should make an assumption that because they fork over a little bit of money that a woman should put out.
Wow, who would have guessed that the lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots would be like, well, now one of us has to come out and be like, guys, can we just like do the morally correct thing here for a second before we start doing this?
And this itches Bill Maher so bad too, because he's like, well, you're like a rock star, and you definitely have to agree with me, right? We're poon hounds. And Scott's like, yeah, I could be like that without being a fucking scumbag.
And that's when Scott Weiland's like, says the thing where he's like, yeah, I mean, you know, if have a gig in Chicago and I fly my wife out, I'm kind of hoping something happens. And everybody laughs. And then Bijou Phillips very sincerely goes, well, it's your wife. It's a given. And it's like, oh God, this is intensely depressing. This is such a huge fucking bummer. And also, and then not long after that, she agrees with Bill Maher about something. Or no, she says something about how she there have been guys she's flown out who haven't had sex with her after. And Bill Maher starts referring to himself as daddy and grabbing her around the shoulders and pulling her in really close to him. Like he's trying to get her to sit in his lap.
But I've flown guys in and gotten laid, but just to get laid purely, that's the only reason I'd fly them in. But
well, it's nice talk to Daddy, honey. Daddy has a plan for you. Yeah, anyway.
And she looks really uncomfortable.
Dude, he's like, she's like, he goes, why do you have to fly people in? You're like a sexy young actor. And I'm like, I hate this guy. I wish a fucking, I wish the on him, this dude.
That'll get
timing
bleeped.
is off. Yeah. The timing is off on that. Let's make it the DC sniper.
Actually what this really reminds me of, add 25 years to his age, and that's exactly what his Club Random episode with Bella Thorne is like. Oh
God, I can only imagine how much Club Random you have to watch for this.
I have made 8 different guests individually watch that episode of Club Random because I'm so obsessed with it.
I'm now obviously gonna watch it at some point.
And it's the 4th episode, and you're like, how did this keep going after this? Maybe they were just like, well, it can't get worse than this, so let's put this out. So then after Scott Weiland says the thing about the money, Bill Maher is like,
and if that is the assumption that if you spend money on a plane ticket to fly a woman in that you think that you're going to have to, then
it's not the money.
And what if the woman says, you know what, I'm not going to sleep with you.
It's the effort. Well, it's that you're going across the continent for a date, and that implies that there's going to be a little more than just dinner and a movie.
Well, what do you mean the effort? You're not putting in any effort when you're
putting money in. You're saying money.
Yes. Yeah. He's as if he's mad on their behalf, where he's like, really, you're going to go through all the work to fly over here and deny yourself that pleasure? I'm upset for you. You're the one I'm worried about in this situation.
I can't believe you'd go through all that effort of flying across the country and not climb on top of my I'm the color of a Simpsons character and fuck me. His skin tone has always confused me. It's like he's like the color of the one guy on the Simpsons bus who's like beige, you know? You are a pale man. And he is not pale. He's like a different shade. He's like a grayish mauve, and he always has been.
He's like the color of a candle where it's like, hey, this repels mosquitoes, but also don't breathe directly over it.